Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? Once again, it's your friend, it's your man in 100 grand, Doc G. And I just wanted to talk about women in the Bible. Like most of most of us grew up reading the Bible, and the Bible is a good reference point for character and how one should be, how one should build themselves up. And it teaches us how to be better men and better women, basically, if you apply it the right way. Needless to say, throughout the Bible, you have many examples of women in the Bible and how they don't just listen to man, they don't listen to God as well. I'm not saying women in general, but I'm just saying the nature of a lot of women nowadays is rebellious. And it directly aligns with some of the loose women in the Bible. And I'm going to get into that. I'm going to get into that real soon. So let's look at Bible verses on loose women. You got Proverbs chapter 7, verse 22. It says, avoid loose women. Just plain and simple. You know, Proverbs 23, verses 27 through 28 says, a loose woman can get you in deep trouble fast. She'll take you for all you've got. She's worse than a pack of thieves. Proverbs chapter 5, verse 3. For the loose for the lips of a loose woman drip honey as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. Now keep in mind, in the Bible, the term loose woman is used to describe a woman who is morally estranged from God or his covenant. And today, I mean, come on, man. The main characteristics with women nowadays are the characteristics of whores, a seductress, an adulteress, a wayward woman. These are characteristic traits nowadays that are praised in women. Whereas you have the total opposite, which is a virtuous woman, which is very rare. Like in Proverbs chapter 31, verse 10, it says, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. Or Proverbs 31:11, it says, the heart of her husband safely trusts in her, and he has no lack of gain. Real shit. It shows that the price of a virtuous woman is beyond measure, basically. And that's rare to find. Let's really look at some of the prime examples of whores in the Bible, loose women in the Bible. Let's start off with the story of the first woman ever made, the first woman ever created, which was Lilith. The story goes, if you believe in this folklore, the story goes God created man and woman simultaneously from his essence. First, it was Adam and Lilith. God made Adam and Lilith at the same time in his image. Now, keep in mind, Lilith disrespected God, and God cast Lilith out of the Garden of Eden. Lilith became a succubus. If you look into the history of the Bible, Lilith was the first succubus, the first female demon, basically. And it was said that in folklore, if you was a young boy and you had nocturnal emissions, aka wet dreams, it was basically the spirit of Lilith that held you down and made you create that nocturnal emission. But that's a long story. So the first woman ever created, Lilith, was disrespectful towards God and man. Woman was so disrespectful that God had to make the first woman, he had to make woman twice. So Lilith was disrespectful to God. Then God said, okay, let's try this again. And then fashioned Eve out of the rib of Adam. And Eve was also disrespectful. Eve went against God's word not to eat from the forbidden fruit, but was tempted by Lilith and Satan to eat the forbidden fruit. And guess what? Till this day, women have to suffer because of Eve's sin. Women have periods and they have pain during childbirth because of the sin of Eve. And man, his punishment was to toil the earth for the rest of his days because he basically listened to Eve. So Lilith, the first woman, disrespected God. Eve, the second woman on earth, disrespected God and disrespected man. This goes to show, hell, the first two women on earth wouldn't even listen. They don't know how to listen, and they don't know how to be respectful, not towards man or towards God. This is why woman needs direction. I hate to say this, and I hate to sound like a misogynist or anything, but you see what happens when you let women go off and just do whatever the hell they want to do. Look at where they are today. I mean, real talk. So the first two women on this earth, Lilith and Eve, were disrespectful towards man and disrespectful towards God. Let's not even talk about, not being able to trust a loose woman, aka, a whore, basically. A good example of this is the story of Samson. Samson grew, he got his strength from his hair, basically. Samson was able to achieve great physical feats, and and nations feared him because he was given this strength by God, and he got his strength derived from the locks of his hair. Now, basically, Samson trusted this woman named Delilah. And Delilah was a hoe. And Delilah laid down with Samson, wait till he fell asleep, cut his locks off, which basically means that got rid of his strength when his locks were gone, when his hair, the source of his strength, was gone, because a hoe, Delilah, cut his locks off. So his enemies were able to blind Samson and get the best of him because some whore took away his strength. Let's not talk about the story of Jezebel, which is a term that's referred to loose women in general until this day. I'm gonna leave that whole entire story up to you guys to look up, because the story of Jezebel is something else. Another example of women not listening to God. Remember the story of Sodom and Gomorrah? Sodom and Gomorrah, the city that was made of sin, that was full of people that sinned, and they had orgies, gay sex, all kinds of stuff in Sodom and Gomorrah. This is where the term sodomy comes from. Now, God told Lot and his wife and his children to run away from the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, run away from that city as he was burning that city to the ground, and never look back, or you'll turn into a pillar of salt. Now, keep in mind, Lot and his children listened to God. They ran from Sodom and Gomorrah as it was being burnt to the ground, and they didn't look back. But guess who disrespected God and decided to look back anyway? The woman, Lot's wife, decided to look back, being disrespectful towards God. And of course, she turned into a pillar of salt. You know, and I'm telling you guys, man, it's in a woman's nature to be rebellious, unfortunately. This is why a lot of them act the way that they act. This is why a lot of them can't take accountability for anything. This is why a lot of them run off of emotion instead of reason. And when you let such a chaotic character just run around here without any guidance, without any type of proper leadership, then nothing can happen but chaos. Look at American women today. Look at how chaotic everything is today. It's a reason that the Bible states the order to be God, man, woman, and child. It's not like that without reason. The Most High made it this way for a reason. The order is God, man, woman, and child. And you can feel how you want to feel about this, ladies. But it's like that for a reason. I don't care how much of a boss bitch or whatever that you claim you are. You will never be able to rearrange that order and have things work the way that they should. And like I said before, Proverbs 21, chapter 19, I'm telling you, it says this: better to live in the desert, die in the thirst, than in a household with a quarrelsome and nagging wife. I'm going to say that again. It's better to live in the desert, dying of thirst, than with a quarrelsome and nagging woman. This is in the Bible. Proverbs 21:19. I'm telling you, man, y'all, we've been warned about this for years. Anyone who's been raised right, they know these things about the Bible. They know how to properly raise their daughters so they don't become these type of women. But like I said before in the earlier passage, if you're a virtuous woman, the price of you is higher than the price of gold. If you're a virtuous woman. So ladies, please focus on being a virtuous woman. And then you have a lot of women nowadays who will say, I ain't gonna submit to no man. I ain't gonna submit to no man. Can't no man control me. Here's the thing. You submit to the man that you choose. I don't see what's wrong with a woman submitting to a man if it's a man that you choose. If it's a man that's rooted in God, if it's a man that's rooted in proper decorum, if it's a man that's rooted in proper character, you should have no problem submitting to this man. But let's not talk about the 7 deadly sins. You know, one of the sins, which is pride and lust, which is 2 sins that a lot of you follow so vehemently nowadays. And you can call me sassy or whatever for stating the truth here, but in the end, You'll find out one way or another. I just had to point out some of these things, man, and just had to keep it real with y'all, man. Once again, it's your friend, it's your boy Doc G signing out. Peace.